Welcome to the Foundations of the IEP Training Series. This recording is part of a series of videos on IEP compliance. This recording should be viewed in conjunction with the findings video from the Foundations of the IEP series in order to get a full picture of the expectations for compliance in the area of the present levels of the IEP. How is my child doing in school is a question frequently asked by parents. Understanding how a student is currently functioning in school is necessary to determine how to best support them. In the IEP, this determination is identified as the present levels of performance and should be discussed by the team at the onset of the IEP meeting. It's helpful to know exactly what IDEA says. So here is the verbatim requirement for the present levels component of the IEP. Each child's IEP must contain a statement of the child's present levels of academic achievement and functional performance, including how the child's disability affects the child's involvement and progress in the general education curriculum. For example, the same curriculum as for the non-disabled children, or for preschool children as appropriate, how the disability affects the child's participation in appropriate activities. And what does this mean for present levels of academic achievement and functional performance? Let's take a closer look, because a lot of the other information in the IEP will rise out of the present level statements. There must be a link throughout the complete IEP. The link begins with the present levels and it expands to all areas. The present level statement is intended to comprehensively describe a child's abilities, performance, strengths, and needs. It is based on and rises out of all of the information and data previously collected and known about the child. Well-written present levels will describe the child's strengths and weaknesses, what helps the child learn, what limits or interferes with the child's learning. It'll include objective data from current evaluations and assessments, and that portion will go in the findings of the present levels. The present levels will include how the child's disability affects his or her ability to be involved and progress in the general curriculum. Fully developed, well-written present levels is the foundation upon which the rest of the IEP can be developed to specify appropriate goals, services, supports, accommodations, and placement for the child. There should be nothing in the IEP that doesn't point back to the present levels. If you want to know why a student has a particular accommodation, if it's a compliant IEP, the answer should be found in the present levels. The I in IEP means individualized. To better understand what exactly is meant by individualized, think of it like this. If the student moved to another district tomorrow, could their new teacher read the present levels and know the student's instructional strengths and needs? The IEP is specially designed instruction to meet the unique needs of this child. Specially designed instruction for children with disabilities is a requirement under the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, or IDEA. Specially designed instruction refers to the teaching strategies and methods used by teachers to instruct students with disabilities. IEPs, which are the blueprint of the student's free appropriate public education, or FAPE, are legally binding commitments of resources from the LEA. An appropriate education can be defined as educational services designed to meet the individual needs of students with disabilities as adequately as the needs of non-disabled students are met. This includes, but is not limited to, the education of each student with a disability with non-disabled peers to the maximum extent appropriate to meet the needs of the student with a disability. There is abundant legal precedent that explains that education extends beyond academic skills and includes social, emotional, and physical progress necessary to move the child towards meaningful independence and self-sufficiency consistent with the child's cognitive potential. The IEP is a contract of sorts that is developed by the IEP team that defines how the school will provide FAPE to a student. The IEP must be designed to confer meaningful educational benefit. Under IDEA, FAPE is the provision of special education and services at public expense in accordance with an IEP designed to help the child receive educational benefit. The school can't guarantee progress or the very best program, only one in which the child can make meaningful educational progress by implementation of the IEP that is reasonably calculated to confer meaningful educational benefit. Meaningful educational benefit can only be demonstrated through the measurement of progress towards goals using the present levels as the baseline or starting point. Here is a screenshot from Enrich that shows the part of the IEP that we are talking about. Each portion has a prompt that will tell the team what needs to go in each section specifically. Here you see the prompt, what are the student's academic and functional strengths? This is where the team will describe the student's strengths in the area of disability. So if the student has a reading disability, what are the strengths in the area of reading? For every area described in the findings, there needs to be strengths described in the area shown above. So if there are 4 findings in the areas of reading, writing, math, and speech, strengths for reading, writing, math, and speech need to be reflected in this area. The screenshot also shows the prompt, what are the student's academic and functional needs? This is the area where you will describe the student's needs in their area of disability. The findings are the place for the specific data related to the specific assessments. The spot above is used for assessment results that provide evidence of the student's needs, but that the team will not necessarily be using to monitor progress, such as MAP, PASS, teacher observations, or grades. The present levels are the foundation of the IEP. The present levels in all IEPs must include functional and academic performance. The student's present levels must always be accurate and up to date. When the IEP fails to include accurate and up-to-date information about the child's present levels, the IEP is defective. It has no foundation. Until an IEP has completed accurate and up-to-date present levels, the IEP cannot be accurate or compliant. The present levels should be updated with most special reviews that are held throughout the school year. The present levels, referred to here as the PLAF, or the present levels of academic achievement and functional performance statement, is a brief but detailed description of all areas of academic achievement and functional performance that are affected by the student's disability. Present levels describe areas of strength and need by including statements about what the child can do and cannot do, and the results of the curriculum-based assessments, results on district-wide and state assessments, classroom academic performance, and classwork and homework assessments, assignments, and parent concerns. Accurate present levels of academic achievement and functional performance statements provide the starting point for all decisions regarding the student's IEP and serves as a foundation for IEP development. Compliant present levels provide a clear picture of student strengths and needs and are based on evaluation and performance. The present levels guide the IEP team in identifying appropriate goals, supports, and services. Present levels must be written in a language that is easily understood. Common present level of academic achievement and functional performance errors include writing vague descriptions of academic or functional needs. A statement such as, John struggles with reading, does not explain the need of the student. This statement needs to be full and complete and include what specifically he struggles with in reading. Writing statements that are not related to the student's disability are another common error. John is a happy child who enjoys school. though a nice statement isn't related to John's disability and does not help us to understand what specialized instruction is necessary to help John at school. Another common error is writing statements based solely on standardized battery of tests. For example, John has a RIT score of 191 on his MAP reading. This score means very little to anyone who is not experienced with MAP, especially parents and guardians. Additional information is needed, such as a RIT score of 191 is typical of a student in the second grade and is an indication that John is reading below grade level for a fourth grade student. The average student in the fourth grade should average, and you begin to see a fuller picture. This will provide a full explanation of what the score actually means to the IEP team and what it means for John. Writing present level and academic and achievement and functional performance statements that are not individualized and using students' disability as the present level statement are some more examples of IEP errors. There are some important considerations when writing present levels, which include: are the present levels understandable and clear to everyone on the team? Do the present levels identify all areas of need? Are the present levels precise enough to lead to measurable annual goals? Do the present levels describe only the unique needs that will be addressed in the IEP? And finally, do the present levels lead to an annual goal, special education service, or both? Present levels need to identify an educational need. They need to be connected to a goal and a service, and they could potentially be connected to an accommodation. Note in the picture, specifically, there is an area for strengths and there is an area for needs. Some examples of minimally adequate present levels include: in the strengths, in reading, Jason is able to identify letters of the alphabet and consonant sounds. He is able to sound out simple consonant vowel consonant words. Needs. Jason has difficulty with medial vowel sounds and is unable to sound out words with digraphs and diphthongs. These are excellent strengths and needs for in the present levels. You will provide your specific data down in the findings. Another reading strength. John has good basic phonemic skills. So under needs, you would say John is able to read 34 words a minute correctly on a third grade Ames Web Passages. The typical third grader reads 59 words per minute. John does not blend sounds fluently. He tends to read word by word, which slows his reading rate. On a third grade closed measures, John earned an average of 6 points. To be within the average range, he would need to score 12 points. John is able to comprehend grade level concepts when information is presented orally to him, but because of his difficulties with word recognition, he has difficulty comprehending grade level material when reading independently. For behavior, a strength would be John gets along well with his peers and has established friendships this year. His needs. John has 7 discipline referrals this year, 4 for blurting out and disrupting class, 2 for fighting, 1 for disrespectful behavior towards an adult. Here's another example. When looking at this, do the descriptions give you enough information to understand where the student is currently functioning in math computation and application reasoning? In this specific example, we're looking at reading and reading strengths. So as you're going through and creating your strengths and your needs, Is it identifying the strength in the area of disability? So, what are they good at in that area of disability, whether it's math, writing, reading, or speech, or OT or anything else? And then their needs. Is there enough there that you can explain why they are getting specific services, why they are getting specific accommodations, or can it lead to a goal? This screenshot above shows the area in the present levels for the disability statement. The disability impact statement must include the student's disability, how the disability is manifested, and states how the disability impacts the student's involvement and progress in the general education curriculum. It must include an individualized statement of how the disability affects the student's progress in the general education setting, and it cannot just be a statement that says John's learning disability adversely impacts his access and progress in the general curriculum. It needs to be much more specific. Some examples of a disability impact statement would include Alicia's reading and writing at a mid first grade level prevents her from keeping pace with reading and writing assignments of the third grade curriculum. Alicia's math skills are nearly a year below grade level that presents a barrier to completing third grade math assessments and tasks. Or Jason functions at a mid fourth grade level in written language. The disability affects decoding and encoding words, retaining vocabulary, and expressing himself in writing, resulting in the ninth grade curriculum. Or difficulties with short term auditory memory, concentration, and mental control adversely affect Sam's ability to achieve fourth grade curriculum standards and require multisensory, individualized, and/or small group instruction that could not be appropriately provided in the regular education setting. Some more examples. Ramon's multi-handicap interferes with time on task as well as his ability to comprehend content material of the general education curriculum. Dean's learning disability in written expression affects his speed of completing work in the general education curriculum. Megan's disability of autism interferes with her understanding of directions and content, remaining on task, and coping with transitions in the general education curriculum. Susie's acting out behaviors interfere with her ability to participate in large groups, maintain attention to academic tasks, and complete work in the general curriculum. Things to consider while writing a disability impact statement include how the disability impacts the involvement and progress. Does it impair the student's ability to read, decode, comprehend, write, do mathematical calculations, listen, speak, or build and maintain interpersonal relationships? So that gives us a fuller picture of what is expected in the present levels here at the South Carolina Public Charter School District. Please be sure that you continue with the findings portion to get the full picture of present levels, including the findings. Look forward to seeing you then. Thanks.